Stanley Bagshaw and the 14-foot Wheel by Bob Wilson. In Uddersgate, famed for its tram lines, up north where it's boring and slow, Stanley Bagshaw resides with his grandma at number 4 Prince Albert Row. Now, near where Stan lives is a factory, which he frequently happens to pass, that makes sprockets and wheels out of copper and steel and motorbike parts out of brass. One day, Stanley Bagshaw was walking along by the factory gates when the works engineer said, "Stanley, come here. Will you give me an hand, me old mate?" "The tea lady's off with the measles, and my tea break is long overdue. Will you keep an eye on the foundry whilst I put on the pot for a brew?" Stanley, being kind and obliging, said he could spare a moment or two. So George then began to explain to our Stan what he wanted the young lad to do. "You see that big clock in the middle? That shows when the wheel mould is full. Now here's what you do. When it says 32, you just give this big lever a pull. Now I'll only be gone for a moment, so don't worry," the engineer said. "Are you sure that you understand what to do?" Our Stanley nodded his head. Well, at first the job seemed quite exciting, but Stan soon got so tired and bored. He just couldn't keep from falling asleep. He fell so fast that he snored. But the hands on the clock kept on turning. 32, 33, 34, past the red danger sign, 38, 39, till the mould wouldn't hold any more. Bang! Went the mould pumping machine. Our Stanley woke up with a shout, and Cyril and George rushed into the forge to see what the noise was about. "Just look at that clock!" shouted Cyril. "By gummy!" the engineer said. "Stanley Bagshaw, have you let it past 32? Our Stanley just nodded his head. Then George gave a pull on the lever. The machine gave a strange clunking sound. Then, what a surprise! "Just look at the size!" shouted George. "It's near 14 foot round." Well, this bicycle wheel was enormous. "What the heck shall we do?" Cyril cried. Said George, "Well, it's quite clear. We can't leave it here." So they all pushed the wheel outside. "Mind the slope by the door," said our Stanley. But his cry of alarm was too late. They pushed it too hard. It rolled into the yard and out of the factory gate. Right down the middle of Pump Street it went, closely followed by Cyril and Stan. It rolled on down into Uddersgate town, and that's when the real fun began. Ron Meller was laying some concrete and had just smoothed it out nice and flat when the runaway wheel knocked him head over heels right into the concrete. Splat! It rolled on past Rowbotham's cake shop and gave Charlie Keck such a chase. He ran all through the town, knocked a fat policeman down, and splot! Squashed a cream tart in his face. The wheel rolled on through the market. "By gum!" Cyril cried. "What a lark!" It rolled down the hill past the gasworks and turned into Uddersgate Park. In the park, Maurice Ratcliffe was fishing, sitting there half asleep on his stool. When he saw the big wheel, he let out a squeal, jumped up and fell into the pool. Splash! The wheel rolled into the playground. Cried Stanley, "Hey, that's not allowed!" It rolled to the top of the playground slide and disappeared into the clouds. "Oh, well, that's very odd," muttered Cyril. "It's perhaps just as well," said our Stan. "It must be quite near to me tea time. I'd best get home to me Nan." "Have you had a nice time?" said his grandma when our Stan got home for his tea. "I've just been a run around Udder's